G'day guys, and thank you for joining me tonight. I hadn't planned on doing a workshop as such. All I knew was that tonight was an important night. It's a blue moon and a full moon, but what makes this blue moon so special is that it's not because there's two full moons in a month like a blue moon generally refers to, the second blue moon in a month. What makes tonight so special is that this is the first and only full moon in August, and the other reason it makes this so special is because this is a seasonal full moon and not a monthly occurrence, not because of a monthly astronomical occurrence. This is because it's the second full moon in the season, for the season. What I'd like to talk about tonight really is something very dear to my heart. I want to talk to you about how to honour the energy of the full moon, whether it be a blue moon or any full moon, just to be able to honour the fact that this is a once in a month opportunity, and in this case a blue moon, once in a blue moon opportunity. That's what the saying actually means, something that happens rarely. Okay, so we're going to do something that we don't get a big opportunity to do because we're doing it on a blue moon. Tonight I want you to visualize the full moon as being like a beautiful goddess who's young enough, I guess, to be pregnant, and picture her as having a big round belly. I've got here a little statue of the Earth Mother, the Earth Goddess. You probably won't be able to see it, so I'll just put it down here. You might be able to see it there in the moonlight, in the candlelight. She's got a really round, full belly. Imagine this goddess energy appearing to you with a beautiful round full belly, like the full moon, round and full. Imagine her also having beautiful blue eyes because she's a blue moon. So picture her with beautiful blue eyes, and just sort of hold on to that visual while we talk about what we're going to talk about. All the stuff that's happening on the planet right now, COVID, what's happening in Afghanistan, all that sort of stuff, there's always some sort of event taking place that's not positive. But right now we seem to be bombarded with stuff. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, I think it'd be really wonderful if for just tonight we focus on gratitude and we focus on being humble and really thankful for the life that we have, particularly what we have here in Australia. We are very, very fortunate. And sure, we all have challenges. Sure, we all have difficulties and things that happen in our lives that aren't great. We all experience those things, but putting all that stuff aside, the crux of it is we're so fortunate, because it can, and the world proves it right now, be worse. So what I'd like to do is get you to join me while I call in the full moon. I'm going to call to her as if she's a dear friend. I'm going to ask her to come and join us. And it's as simple as saying, Grandmother Moon, hear our prayers. Join us, please. Come and sit in sacred circle with us. Getting a bit teary because it's such a sacred thing to be able to do, to call down the energy of the moon, to call to her with your heart. Ask her to join us. Ask her to hear our prayers. Ask her to help us share what's in our hearts with the rest of the world, because I know I'm very fortunate. Despite some things that have happened in the past that have caused me grief and worry, I still sometimes sit and I think about that, but most of the time I sit in gratitude. And tonight I'm acknowledging the fact that we're being watched over and guarded and protected by a beautiful goddess with crystal blue eyes. What I thought would be wonderful, now that we've attracted her attention, is to maybe, I don't know if you guys know how to smudge. I have created here, again it's a bit tricky to see because of the light, I don't know if you can see that, but it is a smudge wand that I've made out of lavender from my own garden. Now it's just lavender. I've bound it when it's wet, and I've wrapped it with a red cotton to represent life force and passion, and then I've let it to dry, and it can dry for months. I've got a few of these, and I use them it's on special occasions like tonight. And all we need to do, it's not really the flame that we're looking for, okay? I don't want to set fire to the town, but we just let the smoke, the fire, see? That's all we want. That's what we want, the glow. I'll just get it going a bit more so that it's a bit more established. Just setting fire to my altar. See that? And we're going to just literally billow the smoke around. Some people like to use a feather. You can if you'd like, but really it's all about intent. And I'm just going to wave that around myself like this. Wave it over my altar because I'm going to do something special in a minute. I wanted to show you. My altar, by the way, has things that are sacred to me and sacred to my family and sacred to this energy that we've got happening at the moment with this full moon. I'll take you through that in a sec, but I just wanted to show you how to smudge. And it's very simple because this is telling the universe I'm receptive, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and I'm open. I'm also asking any negative thoughts that I might have had during the course of the day, or the things that have been burdening me, to just leave me alone for a little while. Give me a rest, just for this short moment, alright? So I've asked the spirits to help me to put all that out of my mind. I'm going to pop it in here so I can still smoke, but it's not going to be needing to be held. This altar, you can see, hopefully, or you'll be able to see if I hold the candle in front, that we have, as I said, the little goddess statue representing the Earth Mother, but also representing the full moon, the goddess with the full belly. I've got little toadstools here representing the fairy realm. I've got a little blue wren there that represents someone that we love dearly in spirit. I've got a kangaroo here. Why have I got a kangaroo? Well, it's interesting because in North America, this full moon, the August full moon, is referred to as a sturgeon moon because in August there's always lots of sturgeon available in the Great Lakes. So the people of that area refer to it as the sturgeon moon. Here in Australia, it's also known as the full kangaroo moon because it's when the kangaroos and joeys start to emerge from their mother's pouches, the wallabies and the kangaroos. So we call it the kangaroo moon. I've got some maidenhair fern because, as I referred to the goddess energy as being young, so I thought maidenhair sounds like someone who's younger. But also we bought this today and it's carrying a purpose and sacred energy for us at the moment. I've got this beautiful rose quartz here, sphere, which has been sitting out soaking up what of the moon we can see because it's very overcast. And I have this goblet, and I just have a few bits and pieces. I've written a prayer earlier too to acknowledge my intention for the full moon and doing what we're doing here tonight. And when this is all over, I'm going to surrender it into the flames over there so that it can burn and become a prayer of smoke where the energies of the prayer are taken out to the universe on the back of the smoke. It's called a prayer of smoke. You can try that. It's a lot of fun and it's also very, very powerful because we get to see the smoke carrying the prayer to Great Spirit. You see what I'm saying? It can be quite healing and it's wonderful to be able to release and surrender things that no longer serve us, and this is a perfect time to do it. I think she's coming through over there, so I'll have my little cameraman show you after when she's fully visible. What I thought we could do tonight is what I refer to as making moon water. Moon water is when you use, and it's just a regular, like it's just spring water. I've got a bottle full of spring water here, but if you're lucky enough to live somewhere where a natural spring is available, that water is perfect. When my other kids, Caleb and Rosie, were little, we'd go to a spring up on Mount Donabeewang in Victoria, and we would collect the water from the spring there that burst out of the side of the mountain. And my kids would take up a little gift to offer to the fairies or the energies of the ancestors in gratitude and thanks for the water that we were taking. Sometimes it was a coin, sometimes it was like a little cake. Sometimes if I picked the kids up from school and we went straight up to the hill after school, they would look in their lunchbox and see if there was any crusts or whatever left, and they would offer that to the fairies. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just offering something back is always nice. I paid the shopkeeper money for this bottle, so that's giving back, but it's also, way more convenient for a lot of people just to buy a bottle of spring water. Don't use tap water because it's got all sorts of other nonsense in it, but spring water as natural as you can find is always better. So what I'm going to do is I've got my goblet, and I'm going to plop it just here. You can use anything you like, by the way. You don't have to have a fancy goblet. This is coloured blue, and it's a beautiful, you can see the light shining through. It's really beautiful. So I'm just going to pop some water in there. So just drop the lid. And while I'm pouring, you can't hear my thoughts because I'm talking to Great Spirit and to the moon, but I'm offering my intentions for pouring the water. I know why I would like to, I'm doing this. My reasons are gratitude. I'm offering gratitude. I'm showing Great Spirit that I'm so happy and grateful for what I've been given, that I'm willing to sit out here and do a little ritual to mark the occasion. Just excuse that truck going past. Very loud truck going up the hill. Okay, so now that I've placed the water in the goblet, what I want to do is I'm just going to offer a little silent prayer. I'm going to place my hands in a cupped shape over the top of the water, and I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm going to focus my intention, reminding you, of course, that I'm here to offer gratitude and to be thankful for the life that I have, which is, despite all the challenges I've experienced in life, it couldn't be more golden. Okay, so I'm going to just give thanks to Great Spirit while I'm asking the energy of the full moon to bless this water, so that whoever drinks it later will know the joy that I feel. I'm just going to ask Great Spirit to hear my prayers and to ask the moon, Grandmother Moon, to imbue this water with her magic and her energy and her love and her protective guidance. I can feel my hands warming. Sure, there's a candle right there, but I can feel my hands warming as the energy is building. I think that's enough. I've offered my prayers. Spirit knows my intention. Spirit knows my heart. We understand that this is an energetic process. But what you might like to do, if you're someone who is visual and you like to do stuff rather than focus, and if you like to physically participate in your little rituals, what might be nice is if you might like to add something to it that is meaningful. I've got some beautiful flowers here. These are fuchsias. I don't know if you can see that there. They're sacred to a woman who's very important to us, who's in spirit. And these little jonquils, jonquil flowers, which are also one of her favourites. I'm going to pop those in the water so that her energy is in my moon water. Also, you might like to, if you're a crystal person, you might like to add a crystal of some kind. I've got this rose quartz here, which believe it or not, we had on our wedding altar when we got married, so it's very, very important to us. But that's a little big to pop in there. We also gave rose quartz to all our guests at the wedding. We're talking about something, by the way, that happened a very long time ago now, but I've still got a piece of that rose quartz chunk. I could pop that in, but it's a bit big. These are very important to us. So what I've got here is a smaller piece, and it's been carved into the shape of a heart, which needs absolutely no explanation. Can you see that? This is rose quartz, so of course it's a stone known for the sharing and the acknowledgement and harnessing of love energy or heart-based energy. It's a heart chakra stone, so it's what perfect shape for it to be than a heart. This was cleansed earlier. I'm just going to pop it in the water to also add to the energy of that moon water. Does that all make sense? See how beautiful it looks? I don't know if you can see that, but I was leaning it forward so my little cameraman can get a visual. That is all that needs to happen. That's it. Simple as that. It's about the prayer, it's about the intention. Everything I do is about intention when it comes to the spirit work that I do. I try in life, every day, I make sure I work really, really hard to be the best person I can be. I make mistakes, I stuff up, but it's all about intention. My intention is to make a difference in this world. My intention is to bring peace and healing to the planet in one way or another, because I'm also seeking that within myself. Does that make sense? So what I'm brewing in myself is going to be shown and vibrating out to the world as I walk through it. So if my intention is to be a good and whole person, or as best that I can be with the understanding of life that I have, then that's what's going to glow out. Does that make sense? So the same with doing something like this. My intention is to create a healing water that's filled with love, the energy of this amazing full moon, this blue moon energy, and the gratitude and the love and the passion that I feel for what I do and my family and this beautiful place that we live. All those sorts of things are going to be put into this water energetically. And when the time comes for someone else to maybe take this, use this medicine that I've created, they'll feel what I feel, hopefully, or the intention at least of what it was that I was doing here. So I guess the important thing to remember now is, what do we do? What do we do with all this? My plan is to leave all this here all night. Well, at least leave the goblet out in the moonlight so that it can be continuing to brew as she goes through through the cycle, because she goes through her process. She's only new, she's only just appeared, and if Oscar was just to focus the camera up just slightly on shore, he'd be able to capture a glimpse of her in the sky just there. And if you I'll take a couple of photos later so we can get a clearer visual, but she's right there watching. She's right there listening to our prayers. She's right there enjoying what we're doing. She's part of it with us. So I'm going to leave this goblet out. It's an offering to her in some ways, but also as a way of making sure that the water brews for some time so that, you know, the energy can be at its maximum. Anyway, in a nutshell, I think what I have done here is complete. I can go back to my own prayers and my own meditations now, but what I will do with this when I'm done is I'll take it out of this vessel and I'll place it into a bottle, and I will use, I'll make sure that I fill the bottle 3/4 of the way with the moon water, and the rest I'll top up with brandy or something that is going to hold the vibration of the water, and that'll last for quite a long time. Anything that's left over of the moon water, I'll return it to the earth. I won't tip it down the sink. I'll come out and I'll offer it to something in the garden that's needing a bit of extra love, because there's always going to be enough. Don't be afraid, oh my gosh, I can't waste any. It's not waste, you're giving it back. And then obviously the next full moon you can do it all over again if you want to. Anyway, I hope that has given you something to think about. I hope this little chat, this little workshop has given you some skills that you can adapt later or use for yourself. It's a wonderful exercise when you're feeling a little bit lost, or when you're not quite sure to know what to do. It's a great little exercise when you're feeling like at loose ends or at a crossroad or just not quite yourself. Sit out here and chat to your grandmother. That's what I do. When I can't pick up, I don't have any grandparents in the flesh anymore. Mine have passed away. When I need to chat to an elder and I don't know who to chat to, this is who I chat to, the full moon. My wife and I, Trudy, over the years we've always focused on the full moon and looked to her for guidance and drawn her down to listen to, in the hope that she'll listen to our prayers and listen to our intentions for the coming months and the coming years. And we are doing that even as we speak, because we're on a journey right now. We're in between. You know, we're in the process of change, and it's exciting, but it's a little bit scary, and sometimes we don't know who to turn to for advice. So who do I turn to? The Earth Mother and the Grandmother Moon. Sometimes you'll see her shimmering in the ocean, because that grandmother and the grandmother ocean are sisters and they understand each other. So I'll often look to her there. So I hope that you've got something out of this. I hope I'm not rambling. I really look forward to chatting to you next time. And again, if there's any questions or anything that comes up later that you need a bit of insight in, you know where to find me. But the good thing is I'll also have a printout that explains a little bit about what I've done, some of the things you can use, different crystals. Not all crystals like to be put in water. Some crystals really don't like it at all. So I'll make sure that there's a list of crystals that you might like to include in your moon water, and some different herbs or whatever you might like to add, or just other little trinkets even. There's all sorts of wonderful things you can do, and making moon water is one of them. So I'll chat to you soon. Thanks so much for joining me this evening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to offer, and you can check me out on animaldreaming.com or Facebook. Just do a search for my name, you'll find me. Thanks heaps, guys, and we'll chat again real soon. Cheerio for now.